Right, so the first thing I was going to ask was just, can you tell me about the significance of this contract? I presume it's one of the first that you've had with Australia?
Yes, so there's a lot about this that's significant. The first is that it's the first major deployment of this climate defender technology, mini hydro in a container for a bulk water authority that we've done. And the second is that it is, along with another project that has been running in parallel in Australia, our first major program of works in that country, and that's taught us an awful lot about international project management and interaction with Australian municipalities, which have their own special sort of way of operating.
Are you able to tell me about what this contract's worth to provide the 5 mini hydro turbines?
Let me say that it's north of $5 million, but on behalf of our customer, I probably should be sensitive about the specific number.
No worries, I can understand that. And I was wondering about how you negotiate this kind of contract when we're based in New Zealand and the client in this situation is in Australia. How did you form that link with them?
So the project was actually tendered, and as a specialist hydro design and engineering company, we would have been on Melbourne Water's radar. We did indeed tender, and we were successful against a number of other tenderers. And the main reason for that really was our technology solution. We, in effect, brought large-scale hydro to the table with a bulk water authority looking for mini hydro solutions, and that was unique. That was different than any other of the tenderers tried to do. And what it meant was that at the five different locations, we've got effectively 5 different hydro generation arrangements, because it takes advantage of the natural water state in each of those locations, and they're not the same. So without getting all technical, it is about the amount of vertical fall of water and the amount of flow of water, and different turbines respond under different conditions. And so it was really important that we were able to provide Melbourne Water with options that maximised the economic benefit for their company and their operation, and that is what I believe won us that work.
Neat. And just a couple of other background things. How many staff do you have here in Christchurch?
35 at the moment.
And is that your only branch?
We've established an office in Australia as well, and because the result of this Melbourne Water project, as well as one that we've done with South East Queensland Water, which is a completely different form of hydro. It's not the Climate Defender program. These 2 projects that we've run in Australia have generated a lot of interest from customers, potential customers in Australia, and so we felt that it was the right time to establish a sales office. But the next major program of work for us will not only be Australia, but actually in Indonesia, and that's on the back of our stated strategy to expand our operations into Southeast Asia, and we'll be commencing work in Indonesia very soon.
Neat. And just finally, why have you chosen to work out of Christchurch? It's really interesting that you've been here for a wee while and you're having so much success out of a city that's gone through a wee bit in the last few years.
Well, yes, in our own, we've got a manufacturing facility here in Christchurch, and yes, that took some damage at the time of the earthquakes. Why? Because the heart and soul of our company really is the people, the quality of the engineers, the engineering design, and our manufacturing staff, and they all live here and they like living here. So while we most certainly will develop assembly and manufacturing operations offshore, and will be compelled to do that for reasons of proximity to market and cost. I would imagine for the very foreseeable future, the core of the company will still be in Christchurch.
Great. And had you also thought about, have you been interested in doing similar contracts in New Zealand?
Oh yes, we do. We do work for a range of generation companies. You'd know the names of most of the obvious ones, Trustpower and Contact Energy and Meridian and others. Over the years we've done projects for all of those companies. So New Zealand is still very much our backyard, and we expect to be very active in New Zealand, but we do need, in order to grow and realise the ambitions that we have for this company, we do need to be operating in Australia and beyond. And as I mentioned, Southeast Asia is very much what's more than on our radar now. We're actually going to become very active in Indonesia and other countries in Southeast Asia over the coming months.
Marvellous. Hey, that's great news, and thanks so much for covering all of my questions. Sorry if I sounded a bit naive here and there. I can't say I've got an engineering degree. My sister does, but not me.
Okay.
But that's neat to hear, and thanks so much for being able to make time to have a chat with us.